Finding a good budget solar generator in 2026 is honestly way harder than it should be. Because right now, brands are throwing around giant wattage numbers, emergency backup claims, and flashy charging speeds like every single unit can power an entire house for days. But once real-world testing starts, that's where things get interesting. Some of these generators overheat under load. Some recharge fast, but drain even faster. And some look like incredible deals, until you realize they can't even run the appliances most people actually care about during an outage. So in this video, the goal isn't just to show the most powerful solar generators, it's to find the best budget-friendly options that actually make sense for real people. Whether it's camping, RV travel, blackouts, van life, emergency backup, or just keeping essentials running without spending thousands of dollars, these are the models that stood out the most. And trust me, a few of these completely surprised us, especially the number 2 pick. On paper it looks gimmicky, but in real-world use it solves a problem most generators completely ignore. Let's get into it. When testing these solar generators, the focus wasn't just battery size. Real-world performance mattered more. Things like charging speed, noise levels, portability, inverter strength, long-term battery health, and how useful each unit actually feels during everyday use. Because a generator can look amazing online, but if it's too heavy to move, too slow to recharge, or can't handle appliance spikes, it quickly becomes frustrating during an actual emergency. Starting at number 7, the BLUETTI Elite 300 is easily one of the most impressive compact high-capacity solar generators available right now. And honestly, this thing feels like BLUETTI looked at bulky 3 kWh systems and said, what if we made one that people could actually carry? Because despite packing a massive 3014 watt-hours LIF EPO4 battery, the Elite 300 is surprisingly compact for its class. At around 58 pounds, it's significantly lighter than many competitors with similar capacity. That matters more than people think. A lot of large generators technically qualify as portable, but once you actually try moving them into an RV, garage, or campsite, portability disappears fast. Performance-wise, this thing is an absolute beast. The 2400 watt pure sine wave inverter with a 4800 watt surge capacity handles almost everything people realistically need during outages. Refrigerators, coffee makers, microwaves, power tools, no problem. And for RV users, the dedicated TT30 outlet is a huge advantage because it eliminates messy adapter setups. But here's where the Elite 300 really starts separating itself from cheaper competitors. Battery longevity. BLUETTI claims over 6,000 charge cycles to 80% capacity, which is honestly insane for this category. That means frequent users can realistically expect this unit to stay useful for years longer than many rival systems. Now the catch? There are a few. First, there's no expandable battery support. So what you buy is what you get. For some people, that's perfectly fine. But if future expansion matters, this could feel limiting. Also, the inverter idle drain is higher than expected. Leave this thing powered on overnight without much load, and the battery percentage drops faster than some users may like. Still, for homeowners, RV owners, and off-grid users wanting premium performance without jumping into ultra-expensive whole home systems, the Elite 300 feels incredibly refined. At number 6, the EcoFlow Delta 3 Classic might honestly be the best balance between portability and raw performance in the entire video. This is the kind of generator that feels purpose-built for modern users who want power without the headache. The first thing most people notice is the charging speed. And yes, the hype is real. EcoFlow's Extreme technology is ridiculously fast. Going from nearly empty to 80% in around 45 minutes changes how people actually use portable power. Instead of planning around all-day charging sessions, users can quickly top this off before road trips, storms, or overnight camping. And despite its compact size, the Delta 3 Classic pushes out 1,800 watts continuously with a 3,600 watt surge. That's enough to handle microwaves, coffee machines, TVs, mini fridges, gaming setups, and even some power tools. For a unit just over 27 pounds, that's seriously impressive. But there's something else that makes this generator stand out. Noise. Or more accurately, the lack of it. Under moderate loads, this thing stays extremely quiet. That's a massive deal for campers, van lifers, or people using backup power indoors overnight. Some generators sound like jet engines under stress. The Delta 3 Classic feels refined. Now here's the catch. EcoFlow stripped away a few ports to keep the Classic model cheaper. There's no traditional 12-volt cigarette lighter socket, which could frustrate users with older camping gear. And while the 500-watt solar input works fine, some competitors recharge faster under heavy solar setups. Compared to the Jackery 1000 V2 though, the EcoFlow feels more advanced technologically. The app integration is excellent, charging is faster, and the UPS switching time is fast enough to safely protect sensitive electronics. For digital nomads, apartment dwellers, or anyone wanting a grab-and-go emergency solution, this thing makes a ton of sense. Now, number 5 is interesting because the Jackery Solar Generator 1000 V2 represents something a lot of buyers secretly want: simplicity. Not everyone needs expandable batteries, complicated apps, or endless customization. Some people just want reliable power that works every single time. And that's exactly where the Jackery shines. This updated version fixes one of the biggest criticisms older Jackery models faced: battery lifespan. Instead of traditional lithium-ion chemistry, the 1000 V2 now uses LIFEP04 cells rated for roughly 4,000 cycles. That's a massive improvement and instantly makes this feel more future-proof. In actual use, the Jackery feels incredibly polished. The folding handle sounds minor, but it genuinely improves storage and portability. Sliding this into a trunk or RV compartment is much easier compared to older, bulky designs. Performance is also stronger than expected. The 1,500-watt inverter handles most common appliances comfortably, while the 1-hour emergency charging mode is absolutely clutch during outages. Imagine getting power back temporarily after a storm and having just enough time to fully recharge before the next blackout hits. That feature alone could be worth the investment for some users. But there's definitely a trade-off here. Compared to EcoFlow, the Jackery ecosystem feels intentionally simplified. There's no expandable battery support, fewer advanced controls, and slightly lower output. If maximum flexibility matters, EcoFlow still has the edge. And one warning people should know about: Jackery's solar ecosystem leans heavily toward proprietary compatibility. It works great with SolarSaga panels, but third-party flexibility isn't as open as some competitors. Still, for campers, emergency kits, tailgating, and simple home backup, the Jackery 1000 V2 nails the experience better than most competitors. Coming in at number 4, the LIPOWER 1075 watt-hours portable power station proves something important. You do not always need premium branding to get reliable emergency backup power. And honestly, this unit feels underrated. The LIPOWER focuses heavily on practical usability rather than flashy marketing. It uses long-lasting LIFEP04 batteries rated for over 3,500 cycles, which immediately gives buyers peace of mind for long-term ownership. During real-world testing, it handled CPAP machines, portable refrigerators, routers, fans, and essential electronics surprisingly well. What stands out most here is the display. It's large, clear, and genuinely useful. During outages, knowing exactly how much wattage devices are pulling becomes incredibly important. Some generators hide this information behind tiny screens or confusing interfaces. LIPOWER keeps everything simple. But let's be honest about the downsides too. Charging speeds are definitely slower than modern flagship competitors. This is not one of those fully charged in under an hour systems. If speed matters most, EcoFlow and Anker completely outperform it. The cooling fans are also noticeably louder under heavy loads. That may not matter during daytime emergencies, but inside tents or bedrooms overnight, it becomes harder to ignore. Still, the value proposition here is excellent. For buyers wanting dependable backup power without paying premium brand pricing, LIPOWER delivers where it counts most: reliability. Now, before revealing the top 3, here's something buyers seriously need to hear. Most people overspend on solar generators. Seriously. A lot of shoppers buy based purely on battery size, thinking bigger automatically means better. But if the generator is too heavy to move easily, too complicated to recharge, or lacks the ports actually needed, that giant battery quickly becomes wasted money. And honestly, only a few generators in this category truly balance performance, practicality, portability, and long-term value correctly. Some are amazing for RV users, but terrible for apartment living. Others look perfect for emergencies until recharge times become painfully slow. That's why the top 3 stood out so much during testing. These are the models that felt genuinely useful instead of just impressive on paper. At number 3, the VTOMAN 3096 watt-hour system is basically the serious emergency backup option for buyers who still want reasonable value. This thing is massive, and yes, you'll absolutely feel the weight, but that huge capacity completely changes what's possible during outages. Instead of merely charging phones and laptops, the VTOMAN comfortably powers refrigerators, CPAP machines, kitchen appliances, and even some workshop tools for extended periods. The modular battery setup also gives users flexibility. Smaller outage? Use one unit. Longer emergency? Bring the full system online. But the killer feature here is the constant power technology. This allows the inverter to safely handle appliances that technically exceed the rated wattage without instantly shutting down. That matters more than people realize because many appliances spike briefly during startup. And then there's the jumpstart feature. This thing can literally jumpstart trucks and SUVs. That's the kind of practical, survival-focused feature most competitors completely ignore. Now, the downsides are obvious. It's heavy, really heavy. And compared to Anker or EcoFlow, the software ecosystem feels far less polished. There's no advanced app experience, and charging speeds aren't industry-leading. But for users wanting massive backup capacity without spending absurd premium prices, the VTOMAN feels like one of the smartest buys available. At number 2, the BLAVOR 1600 watt portable power station surprised almost everyone. Because honestly, the built-in solar panel initially sounds like a gimmick, but after thinking about real-world emergency scenarios, it actually makes a lot of sense. The integrated panel isn't powerful enough for fast charging, obviously. Charging a 1024 watt-hour battery using only the built-in panel would take forever. But that's not the point. The point is redundancy. Imagine losing your external solar panels during storms, forgetting charging cables, or needing emergency trickle charging during extended outages. That tiny integrated panel suddenly becomes incredibly valuable. Beyond the gimmick, though, this is legitimately a strong power station. The 1600 watt inverter handles surprisingly demanding appliances, while the LIPOWER battery chemistry ensures long-term durability. The reinforced build also feels rugged enough for real outdoor use. But there are trade-offs. The added solar integration increases bulk slightly, and unlike premium competitors, there's no companion app for remote monitoring. Still, for emergency preparedness buyers who prioritize self-sufficiency above all else, this generator offers something unique no other model here really provides. And finally, at number 1, the Anker SOLIX C2000 Gen 2 absolutely earns its spot as the best overall budget-friendly solar generator for most people. And honestly, this thing feels like what happens when a company focuses on solving every major complaint users have with portable power stations. Battery dead? Full recharge in under an hour. Need serious appliance support? The 2400 watt inverter handles nearly everything. Worried about long-term reliability? The LIPOWER battery delivers roughly 10 years of lifespan. Need smart controls? The app integration is excellent. Everything about this unit feels polished. In real-world use, the SOLIX C2000 Gen 2 hits the sweet spot between portability and serious backup capability better than almost any competitor. It's large enough to matter during outages, but still manageable enough for camping, RV travel, or mobile workstations. Now yes, it's heavy. Over 50 pounds isn't exactly lightweight, and under heavy loads, the cooling fans become noticeable. But those issues feel easier to forgive considering how much performance this unit delivers. Compared to competitors like the EcoFlow Delta 2 Max, the Anker feels slightly more refined overall. Faster charging, excellent app support, premium build quality, and impressive inverter strength combine into a package that's hard to beat. So here's the final breakdown. If overall performance matters most, the Anker SOLIX C2000 Gen 2 is the clear winner. It balances power, charging speed, reliability, and usability better than almost anything else in this price range. For buyers wanting the best lightweight grab-and-go option, the EcoFlow Delta 3 Classic is incredibly hard to beat. If simplicity and portability matter most, the Jackery 1000 V2 remains one of the easiest recommendations for casual users. And for serious long-term outages or RV living, the VTOMAN system offers insane capacity for the money. At the end of the day, the best solar generator really depends on how people actually plan to use it. Because the perfect camping generator may be terrible for home backup, while a whole home unit could become frustratingly bulky for travel. If any of these stood out, check the links below for updated pricing and availability, because solar generator prices change constantly, especially during storm season and major sales events. And if this video helped narrow down the search, don't forget to subscribe because more real-world gear comparisons are coming soon.